one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
Welcome back. Yo, I gotta start off by saying this, man. Cause I'm finna go on a little tangent for a little minute, but I gotta start off by saying this. Oh, yo, actually, I gotta start off by saying two things. Or however many things that pop up into my head. For one, this ain't a UFC 272, I think that was the number. That's not a review for the entirety of the pay-per-view. I only was able to watch 2 fights on the pay-per-view, and that's because I was out at a wedding rehearsal with my cousin. Then we went to a dinner. We were supposed to go to this place named Arigatos. We ended up going to this place named Umi's. We got there at 8 o'clock. We got seated. Now, the part that's on us, on our crew, is before we could get seated, which this is weird as shit, that you cannot be seated until everybody from your crew show up. Like, so even if you tell them like you got 12 people, but all 12 people not there yet, for some reason everybody can't sit down. That was weird, because I'm telling you, I saw so many different people at tables when their whole crew wasn't at the table and they was already sitting down. But I don't even care. I'm not even gonna make that a big deal. What I will make a big deal is that, okay, so actually, first off, my cousin getting married, his bride to be, she was her and her crew, they was like, we had to wait on these motherfuckers for like an extra 20 minutes. So we get there at 8, we wait on these motherfuckers for like 20 minutes for them to pull up, because we can't be seated until everybody pop up. All right, bet. Once they get there, 8:20, boom, everybody's sitting down. They done gave us our table. Now, the weird thing about this shit is, and one of the reasons I don't really like eating at Japanese steakhouses or, steakhouses, shit like this, because the cooking in front of you, for one, I'm not amazed by the cooking in front of me shit. Like, that really don't do nothing for me. Like, I'm usually not even paying attention to that shit, to be honest with you. I'm looking at, like, tonight they had the UFC thing on, but they had the prelims on, and I was watching that shit. They had the UNC game on too, so I'm watching that while they, now, mind you, I watched the entirety of the end of that game, standing waiting for us to be seated. So when we get seated and I finally, decide to turn around and watch the prelims, well, the prelims was on, and when I'm watching that, I can't even remember who the 2 women who fought. I watched 2 fights on the prelim. I'm not talking about either of those 2 fights, but either way, we get seated at around like 8:20, 8:24. Cool. For some reason, and this didn't even dawn on me till late. Like, we waited like, I want to say 10 minutes before they came out and asked us for our drinks. Probably not even 10. Probably about 6-7 minute wait on drinks, like, to come get our drink orders. And that didn't even dawn on me that it took them that long to come get our drinks until I actually came home. But when I think back on it, I'm like, damn, they did take a little minute to get us our drink orders. But fuck all that. They come to get our drinks, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes after getting our drinks, they come take everybody order. Cool. Boom, 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 boom. Knock all that out. I want to say we wait probably another 15 minutes before they bring out soup. So now I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I forgot that they, like, one of the reasons I don't like going to these type of Japanese steakhouses, because for one, I don't like, and I'll get to this point later, but one of the things I don't like is that they serve, well, this is really a part of that point. They serve shit in like one at a time. So, we got to bring you out your soup. Wait. Oh, now we'll bring you out your salad. This is what was weird. Now, so me and my whole crew, we African American. We sitting right at, and it's claustrophobic as hell because all the seats are so close around each other around this little, cooking table. So that's the one thing. I really don't think it's, healthy for motherfuckers to be, especially people with breathing problems and shit. Like my mom sitting right beside me, and she got breathing problems. And they cooking in front of her, and all the fucking smoke for some reason is going all in her face. and she keep having to back up, and so she might even have breathing problems. So really, I don't even think we should have went to this shit in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. So when they finally, it's some people sitting at the table in front of us, like right beside us. And that's like, this is what's weird. So they use the whole table, but it's like a couple sitting at the end of the table and like two couples sitting at the other end of the table. So like, you don't even get your own separate tables and shit like this. That's another reason why I think this shit weird. Because if your family not big enough, you're gonna be sharing that table with two families. And the chef who come cook gonna cook for both the families at one time. That's just weird to me. I don't like the small proportions of food and shit, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So the table in front of us, I'm looking at them wait too. Now, mind you, I do know that all these motherfuckers is there already because I saw them chilling outside. But I guess they was waiting on like one other person. No, I guess they was waiting on two other people. Now, mind you, they sat down at different times, so they wasn't even seated at the same time. So, like I said, I could care less about that. What I do care about, though, is I kept a track on how long it took for them to get served and how long it was taking these motherfuckers to give us our serve. The biggest problem for me is how long the fucking chef took to come out and start cooking for us. And I kept a track. I told you, we sat down at 8:20 something. Bringing the salad and the soup, that is meaningless. The time on that for which they took to bring that does not matter, because that is not the meal. That is not what we came for. It was not for soup and salad. So we waiting for them, and we done got like 2-3 different fucking refills by then. Now, you gotta understand, I'm a thirsty individual. I love drinks. I drink a lot. Not alcohol. I just like drinks. And so I'm not even touching my fucking drink. I ended up getting a pink lemonade because I realized that these Japanese steakhouses and shit, I'm not really ever a fan of the drinks, any of them. Because for one, I really don't want no soda because it ain't gonna be a sun drop. Then I don't want water because I don't like going out like to places like this and drinking a water. Like, I drink water all the time. I don't want to drink no fucking water when I go to a restaurant. But then I don't want the tea because the tea tastes like those tea bag teas, and them shits is disgusting. So I had to settle for a pink lemonade. Every fucking person at our table either got a pink lemonade or a water. It was wild. Except for my aunt. She got a Pepsi. She was the only person who got something different. Everybody else either got a pink lemonade or a water. That shit was wild. We didn't even plan that out. And it was like every other person got the pink lemonade water. Pink lemonade water. This shit was wild. I should have took a picture of it. But we didn't plan that shit out. But the time between getting all those refills and all that shit, that I don't care about that. Like I said, from 8:20 to this next time frame is when everything gonna get kick-started. So it's 8:20. Wait. Our fucking chef don't come out till 9:58. We got seated at 8:20. Our chef didn't come out to start cooking our fucking food till 9:58. We waited nearly an hour, an hour and a half plus that. Not to mention, when he get over there, he want to do a lot of talking and shit before he start cooking. Now, I'm looking at the table across from us. Here come they fucking chef out at the same fucking time to start cooking food for them too. So what you're telling me is both our chefs happen to be on break. And I'm not even blaming, this table that was in front of us, because they were all white people. But I'm not even blaming them or say like the service as far as like, oh, they served white people before they served me. No. Because I almost did go there like, bro, how in the fuck did these white people get served this food so much faster than our, like, not served. How the fuck did these white people's chef come out so fast, so much faster than our fucking chef? Because yeah, they came out at the same time, but our chef took an hour and a half to get out this motherfucker. These motherfuckers just got seated about 30 minutes ago and they chef is out now. What's going on? Like, the shit dead ass was pissing me off, bro. And I could see our waitress, bro. Shout out to her. She was cool. I hope we ended up leaving her a tip. I'm pretty sure we did leave her a tip. I really, like, it's hard. she deserved a good tip because I could tell she was trying to do everything she could. She tried to constantly keep coming to the table to make it seem like we wasn't waiting for a long time. But even she couldn't do but so much, bro. She knew we was waiting for these fucking chefs for a long time. And I'm just guessing that both of these motherfuckers was on break. That's why neither one of them, or just disappeared or something. And that's why neither one of them came to the tables. But to me, it's unacceptable to have somebody sit down and wait an hour and a half plus before they fucking chef come out and start cooking shit. Like, that is absolutely insane. So you gotta think about this. And, you know, I fuck with my family is some good people. My cousin, his bride, all the people around, they some good people. My mom, all them good people. So they not gonna show, like, they not gonna let their emotions show that they pissed off and they mad, even though deep down they is. Because literally my aunt, I'm not gonna tell that story. But they not gonna show their emotions. Me, on the other hand, nah, bro. You got but for so long before my face just say, oh, fuck this shit. And then my face start to show exactly how I'm feeling. And then my eyes start to hang low like, bro, are you fucking kidding me right now? And so when this motherfucker come out and want to start doing all this talking and shit before he actually start cooking, I'm literally like about to bang my head on the damn table. Because I'm like, bro, just start fucking cooking, bro. And so one of my other complaints about eating at restaurants like this, and we're going to get to the Kobe, Covington, Masvidal breakdown, I promise. But one of the other problems I have when I eat at restaurants like this is, bro, for one, they cook things like one at a time. So, okay, first they're going to cook all the fucking rice. And it's not really one at a time because he put all the meat on the grill at the same time. But the rice got to cook first. So everybody you got your rice cooked. The proportions of rice is so garbage to me. So garbage. And because I don't eat at these restaurants all the time, I don't have the wherewithal to say, because for one, if you eat at these restaurants, you already know, if you broke like me, this is some expensive dining, which I would not be doing if not for the fact that my cousin was getting married, who was like a brother to me, a little brother to me. So but it ain't like he like so much younger than me. He like 3 years younger than me. It's my guy though. But so we eat in here, and before when I ate at Arigatos and I asked for like extra rice, the proportion of extra rice and like it was ridiculous, bro. Like it was, I literally looked at it and was like, this is extra rice? And like, you know, the chefs crack jokes and all that shit, but I dead ass was like, yo, this is really extra rice? Like, the shit pissed me off. And so then after eating the Arigatos for like, and now credit to Arigatos because the food was good every time I ate there. I just never thought it was worth, because one of my complaints with hibachi is that it all tastes the same to me. Like if you ate at any hibachi, fast food hibachi, buffet but hibachi, hibachi fancy spot, all of it tastes the same. Arigatos, shout out to them, it don't taste the same. Arigatos, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way too. Arigatos to me is like, I don't want to say it's like miles better than Umi or Ami, whatever you want to call it. It's a UMI. I think Arigatos is better than Umi. What I ate tonight from Umi, and plus the fucking service for me, bro. Waiting an hour and a half plus for my fucking chef to come out and start cooking some shit up for me. That's ridiculous, bro. I did not come here to be in a fucking... Mind you, we had just came from Tanglewood because we had been at Tanglewood all fucking day. Like from morning to the afternoon, we had been at Tanglewood for rehearsals and setting up for the wedding and shit. So I'm already tired from that. I hadn't smoked a blunt yet. But this is not why I was pissed like that. I didn't care about that because I knew when I got home I was going to handle that. My problem was how long it took for these motherfuckers for our chef to come out and start cooking. I'm like, yo, this cannot be. And I'm looking at chefs everywhere else, and I know some people like, well, maybe they don't got enough chefs. Bro, fuck up, bro. There's no way you sitting down all these people and there's no chefs in the back. For one, I'm looking at multiple chefs just walking around. Two, bruh, why would they sit us if they had no chefs prepared to cook at no point? Within an hour and 30 fucking minutes. See, the way the woman was acting to me was if she knew, like, oh, fuck, we had them sitting and waiting for way too long. Like, She kept looking at me and looking at us like, oh fuck, I hope they don't get pissed off. Like, now you could make it out what you will, but I don't think it was like no racial thing. I think it was just like, oh fuck, this is some customers who've been sitting here waiting for a long time, and I can see how this could be a problem because they've been, not fuck a long time. These motherfuckers been sitting here waiting for an hour and 30 plus minutes to get a chef in this bitch to start cooking, and she knew it was gonna be a problem. Once that chef came out, if both of them went to the table at the same time, because they both came out the door at the same time, but she stopped that chef from behind from walking in the same time and starting to cook at the same time. She held him back for like an extra 10 minutes to make it seem like, okay, yeah, we didn't serve the white people before us. So that's why I say shout out to her. I can't remember her name, but I hope she got a good tip because she was exceptional. And I know she wasn't trying to make it look like she was doing all these different things, but I'm not a dumbass. Like, I could tell she was trying to be a good person. So shout out to her. I hope we left her a fat tip. Like, when I left with me and my mom left because my mom had to get home. She got shit to do, and I had to go. My cousin and his bride and they family and his mom and her mom and all them was still there. So I'm pretty sure they left a fat ass tip. But shout out to the waitress. But aside from her, the waitress, the server, I don't know what they call it. But aside from her, the fucking experience was atrocious. Not to mention, bro, the corner that they sat us in, no TV. Where I had to sit at, I could not see a TV. I had to completely turn my chair around to see the TV, bro. This shit was absolutely insane. And then just because I'm just a complete dumbass, when the fucking chef finally get there and get done with his little monologue, I'm looking at the game because when he start his monologue, I'm like, oh my fucking Jesus. So I turn and look at the game. His monologue go on for a good little 40, 50 seconds, get hit in a minute now. And I guess he start calling me for about 10 seconds, and I'm not paying this motherfucker no attention because I'm thinking he's still talking to the table. They had to tap me on the shoulder and be like, yo, Saint, he ready for your order. I'm like, and I turn around and when he asked me, I'm like, he asked me my order, and I repeated to him, but he didn't do that shit for nobody else at the table. So I knew he was only doing that shit to get my attention because he wanted me to see him set the fucking grill on fire. Like, bro, I'm not here to see you cook my food. I'm here to eat the fucking food. Like, this theatrics and shit right here, this might have been nice an hour and 30 fucking minutes ago. Now, I could care less about you and the tricks and you just slapping the grill with the spatulas and shit like that. And I was so irritated by the end of this. For one, I didn't even eat my fucking food. I took 2 bites while it was hot and was like, oh, tasty. And said, where to go box? I'm dead ass. I asked the woman as soon as she came back to the table, I was like, yo, can I get a to-go box? Dead at, like, she didn't even question like, oh, you ain't gonna, nah, she knew. She laughed when I told her, like, she knew what was up, bro. Not to mention my cousin came over to me and we was talking about this because he wasn't happy about it either, but he was great, like I said, at not showing it. He say, and I also want to point out, these motherfuckers is about to close in 10 minutes. When we got there, it was like, what, 3 hours before they was finna close or something? Yeah, they were closing up while we were still sitting in there. Unbelievable. And at the end, before I left, I was telling the dude who came, and one of the things I don't like, and I'm dead ass, I just don't like these type of cook in front of you places, because the motherfuckers was coming and cleaning the grills while we were eating. Why would y'all be cleaning these grills while we are eating? Like, I don't. And I guess some people be like, well, they cooked right in front of you. I don't agree with that. The dudes was being messy for one. The shit was splattering everywhere. It was like, I'm just not a fan of the cleanliness and the professionalism, in my opinion, compared to what I get when I go to Arigatos. Arigatos to me is just, I said I didn't want to say it was miles better. Fuck that. Arigatos is so far and away better than Umi's, just from my experience. Like, I ain't never, like, bro, it was already food sitting on the grill when we got there. Like, it was a mushroom on the grill. It was multiple things of rice on the grill. I know some people saying, well, it's just rice and a mushroom, it can get up and bro, That's not the point. If you cleaning like you supposed to, none of this is supposed to be on the grill. It's supposed to be no leftover food from the last customers on the grill. You got rice all over the grill. You got rice all over the table and shit. I'm like, come on, man. I go to Arigatos. It's clean every time. No mess. No anything. No residue on the grill. Sparkling grill. Obviously, it's not sparkling because you don't want it to be sparkling when you cooking throughout the day. That'll probably be something if they do that. Because I know when I used to be a manager at Wendy's, and actually before I was even a manager at Wendy's, when I was just some people want to say he flipped burgers. We actually don't flip burgers, my boy. It's a thing. We just let that bit down. But when I was the chef, basically, because I cooked it all up, when I forgot what the fuck I was talking about again. I had looked at something and I lost my train of thought. I'm fucking with you. But when I was the chef at Wendy's, I used to clean the grill and shit. You know, you get the Delama, you get the hot temp, hot water. You use the spatula to get all the thing. Like I can get that bitch looking brand new every night if I wanted to, but they don't want you to do that every night. I told the dudes who was coming in cleaning the grill, because I really actually was a little bit irritated that he was cleaning them bitches right in front, because the smoke continuing to pop my mom's in the face really was just pissing me off. But on top of that, to see how reckless they was being with it, like they wasn't even trying to keep it all on the grill and not get on nobody's food or nothing. And it's just a good thing that we got a real good group of people, bro. And I know how to keep my composure when I'm with them. And for the most part, I don't like making scenes and shit, because I wouldn't be in this situation anyways, because I'm not. It really got to be a special occasion for me to go out and sit in a restaurant and eat. I'm just telling you straight up. I would never do that on a regular basis. Like, it's people who just go to restaurants and shit on a regular basis. Like my mom's, when we was growing up, we went to Golden Corral every Sunday. I would never just be going to Golden Corral. Like, and I like Golden Corral, but it's not even a Golden Corral specific thing. And this not change that, because I would just be going to Golden Corral. I have done that before, like go to Golden Corral and just get to go plates. I fuck with Golden Corral heavy, but like I'm not just going to Applebee's to sit down and eat, or Red Robin a little bit different. Even though I'm not going to Red Robin because I don't enjoy Red Robin. The Red Robin that was across the street from my complex was more. You can go in there and sit down, but because they had so many servers at the time, it kind of felt like a drive-through, like a fast food place at times, because if you was just getting burgers and like fries and shit, like nothing extravagant or like no huge meal, they served you at about the same rate it take for most of these fast food places to serve motherfuckers. I love it when I go to a fast food place and I pull to the front and they like, okay, they take my money and everything, and they're like, okay, now we're gonna pull you forward. We're gonna bring your food out fresh and hot. And when they bring it out, it ain't fresh, it ain't hot. And I just waited an extra 15 fucking minutes. And I done seen some. I done waited way longer than that before. Trust me. But I'm finally gonna get to this shit, bro. I'm finishing this fucking story, bro. I was finna start the Masvidal shit, but no. I'm getting to this, because Masvidal Covington the only fight I'm talking about from this pay-per-view. It's just not a UFC pay-per-view for breakdown for the entire pay-per-view like it's done been before. No. This is just the Kobe Masvidal fight, which I'm not giving you no spoilers to, like, right now. As a matter of fact, I'm dropping it and going right back to the conversation about Unis. But so, we waiting this long time and he doing the cooking. As I'm leaving, dude cleaning off his grill and whatnot, and I look at that motherfucker and I say, I can clean that shit better than you, homie. And I could see him look at me a little bit, but like turn away real fast, like. So it felt like he paid no attention, but I caught the glance he made with his eyes. And my homegirl, like, well, she not even my homegirl. She my cousin's fiance's sister. One of the bridesmaids, basically. She said she used to work in a restaurant, too, and she used to work on the grill. So she was like, I can clean that shit up, too. And then another one of the homies at the table was like, yeah, we can do this too. And they was talking about how they did it. And so you could tell that the dude was getting like a little bit frustrated because they wasn't being ignorant. But I started up an ignorant, thing, an ignorant train without even knowing that they was going to, start doing what they was doing. I just said it to be ignorant. Then they started pitching in dead ass thinking I was starting a legit conversation. So then I guess my mom thought it was because I think my mom thought I was being ignorant at first. But then when everybody started joining in, I think she think like her mindset was like, oh, maybe he not being ignorant. So my mom turned around and was like, they did a good job on the grill behind us. And I was like, yeah, it's straight, but I could have done that better. And I turned back to the dude and who fully looking at us now, like he fully paying us attention now. And so I turned back to him after I said, yeah, I could have done better. And I look at him before he could turn back on. I'm like, and I would have done this better than you doing it right now too, homie. And we got up and left. Dead ass, man. And I'm not even with being rude, bro, but I was so fucking irritated at how long. Like, I took the food home to the crib. It tastes exactly the same way it tasted when I was there. Like, I'm one of them people who don't have to have my food steamed. Like, obviously, I don't want to eat it when it's, like, fucking freezing cold and it no longer tastes anything like it used to, unless it's pizza. Like, I'll eat cold pizza. I could care less. I have matured to the point where I don't prefer to eat cold pizza a lot no more. Like, but I don't mind it. I'm be honest. Like, if I'm the right level of high, I will fuck up some cold pizza if I wake up early on Saturday morning and I'm about to go back to sleep, but I got a drink beside the bed and the cold pizza near me. Yeah, I'm finna munch down on that. Don't let me have some fucking chips like some flaming hot Ruffles beside me. Oh, Lord. I'm telling you, it could get dangerous. But, well, I just say all this to say Umi's is piece of shit. I don't even want to be aggressively ignorant or aggressively negative. I just say I did not enjoy my experience at Umi's. Maybe on a different day it would be better, but I can't imagine myself being back in Umi's for a while. Like, it's not even that, oh, I'm never gonna go to Umi's, because as far as like, I don't really go to steakhouse hibachi type spots for one. If I do go to one, it's going to be Arigatos every single fucking time. Like, every time it's going to be Arigatos. When I'm, like, why would I ever go? The only reason we didn't go to Arigatos was because they didn't have a table for 12. I think that's what it was. Or they didn't have a table for 12 that late. Like, they was already booked up for, like, the big tables that late. Which, Arigatos, I'm gonna be honest, every time I done went to Arigatos, the whole fucking place done been bumping, bro. Like, motherfuckers love Arigatos. But I see why. I've been to Arigatos, and I'm not a fan of getting served my food at different times, because the rice cold by the time he done cooking all the meat. Then they giving you all these small-ass portions and shit. So I'm not a fan of that. What I will say is I think the shrimp at Umi's is bigger than the shrimp at Arigatos, but the shrimp at Arigatos tastes way better than the shrimp at Umi's. Like, it's not even close. Like, the shrimp at Umi's tastes like the ocean to me. Like, because they so big, and when you keep chewing on them, they lose the grill taste. They start tasting like the ocean the more I chew. At Arigatos, the shrimp the perfect size to where you can chew them bad boys down and they taste grilled. You can get the little lemon taste in it. Them bitches be fire. At Ubi's, it's like he cut the steak and the shrimp. I mean, he cut the steak up in bigger slices. The chicken was cut in bigger slices. But it didn't taste better than what I got at Arigatos. Like, now that I'm really taking a deep dive thinking about it, in my anger for how long it took us to be served, once that has subsided, I'm just realizing, like, Arigatos really is just better than Umi's. Like, no disrespect to Umi's. Like, the service, I can't ignore the service. The service at Arigatos, so I done ate at Arigatos about 6-7 times. Every single time I done ate there, I done enjoyed the food. But one of the most important things, I done enjoyed the experience. It's always packed, but it never feel like I'm crowded and packed. You know what I'm saying? I like the decor. It feel like every single time I done ate at Arigatos, the chef done came out and cooked for us in a proper, time frame. Like we ain't never had to sit there and wait no fucking hour plus. Like we waited an hour and a half for our chef to come out at Umi's. Bro, it has never gotten to a close to an hour when we was at Arigatos waiting for our stuff to come out. Like there were times at Arigatos where they brought out the soup and the salad at the same fucking time, and the chef legit was like 5 minutes behind that. And that was all within like a 20-minute or shorter time frame of us sitting down at the table getting our drinks. Which the drinks come damn near immediately as we sit down, they come ask us for the drinks. So to me, the service at Arigatos is just so far and away better than Umi's. Like so far and away better from my experience. Now granted, this was only one time I done ate at Umi's. I have never eaten at Umi's but one time. I done ate at Arigatos, like I said, like 6-7 times. But I can see at Umi's the proportions, like the slice size is bigger. Like they chopping the steaks up smaller, the chicken up smaller, Arigatos, and the shrimp getting cut up a little bit small. Another thing I don't really like is that they kind of overcook the eggs. Like I ain't never had overcooked eggs in my rice. Fun story. The first time I ever had egg in my rice or corn was at Arigatos. And that shit was fire. They do not put corn in the rice at least not in that fried rice that come with those combos on the back, those expensive ass shits on the. They don't put corn in the rice. They put egg, but he cut the egg up so big also that most of the egg was in my plate of rice. Like dead ass. I doubt that like 4 people or 5 people got egg in their rice, because damn near all the egg was in my rice. Not to mention bruh, and I cannot get past this. At both places, the rice proportion to me personally, when you with a big group, is small. And I imagine if the group was smaller, the portion size would still probably be just as small. But what I will say is the food, like the rice, matter of fact, just the rice taste. And I don't eat vegetables, so none of the zucchini and all that bullshit at either of the 2 places. I would say that they cook the vegetables first at Arigatos. At least every time I done went, they cooked the vegetables first. They cook the vegetables last at Umi's. And then just an example of how small the portion size of rice is at both places. When I first went to Arigatos the first 2 times, I forgot I went there the first time, and I ate the rice up the first 2 times I went there. And when he started giving me my meat, when they started slicing up the meats and shit and passing those out, I had no rice. And I had to ask my mom or somebody else like, yo, you want a rice? You want your rice? You want to share your rice? But none of them really had rice left on their plates either. So I'm always going to be irritated with that, dead ass. But the flavor of the rice at Umi's wasn't bad, but it just didn't taste. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Nothing that I ate at Umi's tonight was nasty. But nothing I ate at Umi's tonight tasted nowhere near as good as the food. Bro, Arigatos is what actually made me like hibachi, Japanese steakhouse. Like, I done been invited to go to Arigatos more than 6 and 7 times. If I had went to every invite, I probably would have eaten there over 30, 40 plus fucking times. I just ain't a fan of ultimately the entire experience as a whole. Like, while I think Arigatos nailed the experience, it's an A+ as far as execution, that's not an experience that I want to put myself through by choice, except for on a special occasion. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real, funny one. I prefer to go to Golden Corral, get my seat, immediate stand up, and go start picking my food out. And I'm not saying that's the only way I gotta eat, but I have been to Applebee's one night and it took them damn near 2 hours to serve us, bro. We ended up having to talk to the manager and everything, bro. The shit was wild. Like, everybody around us getting served, and they talking about like the chef our food. I'm like, what are you talking about, the chef our food? Motherfucker, there's other people around here getting served. Now, granted, Other people started coming in later, so they wasn't getting the effect of the 2 hours that we was waiting. But it was a family beside us, 2 people beside us actually, who was waiting, like came in at the same time as us, and they was waiting for the 2 hour span. So all the group, that's crazy that my 2 worst like experiences as far as like the wait time between sitting down and eating or sitting down and getting the food, the worst it's ever been was at Umi and Applebee's. Even though I like Applebee's, Umi's is good. If I had never had Arigatos, this is how I describe Umi's. If I never had Arigatos, Umi's, this experience wouldn't have put me on a hibachi. Like, it wouldn't have made me say to myself, like, oh man, I gotta get this more often. Whereas once I ate at Arigatos that first time, that shit made me say, wow, this shit is actually great when it's done right, and I could see myself buying this shit again or wanting this again. Like, dead ass. So that was my experience in Umi's. Now we can get to the Covington Masvidal fight, what we all was here for, what y'all was here for, whatever. Listen, you know this is what I actually wanted to start the show off with. I don't know what I ended up starting with when I said, listen, I want to make this clear before I start. This is what I was saying. I want to make this clear before I start. I love the MMA, like all of it. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, motherfuckers be street fighters, taekwondo, all of it. The wrestling, all of it. But when you understand all the shit talk between Covington and Masvidal coming into this fight, all the talk that Kobe said, this ain't gonna be a baptism, it's gonna be a burial, and I'm gonna knock him out, and I'm gonna put him to sleep. And then for him to go out there and do what he did. So this is what I want to say. If Kobe Covington, if you take away this beef between both fighters, right? And these just 2 fighters that had manufactured beef because they fighting each other, or maybe they didn't even have this type of hype going into the fight. If you just give me this fight in a nutshell without the hype and shit around it, without the history and shit, then I would tell you this was a phenomenal win by Kobe Covington. This is still a great win by Kobe Covington. But because of knowing what we know and the beef and hearing all the talk and shit like that, this is one of the biggest hoe moves I've ever seen in my life. And I mean that. Kobe Covington, I picked him to win because I felt like I knew he was going to do this, but I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. But nah. Kobe, I see now what Jorge was talking about when he said when the pressure get on you, he run, he tuck his tail and shit like that. Because to use a metaphor, that's the metaphor or simile or whatever you want to call it. I'm not as up on my English lessons as I should be. But listen, when hearing him say that reminds me of what I just saw tonight. I know Kobe was the better all-around fighter than Jorge. I said that leading up to the thing. Jorge is not the better fighter than all-around. Because, yeah, Kobe is a great wrestler. He have a seriously underrated stand-up game. Like, Kobe Covington is the only thing I would say is he is not a striker. Like, he uses fist, he can take you down, but he is more of a boxer type than an actual like striker. But I know what Kobe was. So in the back of my mind, I was like, I hear Kobe talking all this shit, but I just really doubt he gonna try to stand up with him for the majority of the fight. I really feel like Kobe gonna try to wrestle him and shit. Like, that's just what I thought was gonna happen. But something in me was like, maybe Kobe hate him so much that he'll actually stand up and try to fight him, and he'll just live with the results. Because Dustin Poirier did it, a couple dudes done did it. They done said, fuck it, we standing up. But something, like, it was just something that I just had this itch where I was like, this motherfucker's not gonna do it. And long and behold, he did. He had moments where he stood up and whatnot. But for the most part, bro, Kobe tried to win this fight by even making him tap out. He was wrestling him. And he came into this fight the whole time knowing that he was gonna wrestle him. And that's very disappointing because, like I said, if you take this fight without the hype and the bad blood and the rivalry and whatnot, this would have just been a great win from Kobe. But because of everything that was said going into this fight, to see Kobe win this fight like this was very frustrating because it was manipulative in my opinion. Like, what do you mean by that? Well, he manipulated the fucking fans again. Because he told you he was gonna knock him out. He was gonna go in there and beat him up and whatnot. And to some people, this is technically beating him up like this. But no. You thought he was gonna go in there and stand up with him and whatnot. Like I said, I didn't think he was really gonna do that, but I hoped he did. Because when you hate, somebody tweeted this, and this was a great tweet. He was like, if you hate somebody, wouldn't you go in there and want to stand up and try to knock him out? Like, how much do you really hate somebody if you just trying to wrestle them all night? And that's my thing. Kobe knew he was a world-class wrestler compared to Jorge. And I knew he was going to use that advantage. Because, you see, the thing is, I knew Kobe was going to play this game of where he tried to stand up for a little bit. Even though he really didn't stand up for as long as I thought he would, even to that extent. But anytime he felt shit was going to go south standing on the feet, I knew he was going to wrestle. He happened to wrestle way more than I thought he was. And that's unfortunate for Masvidal because at the end of the day, I think Masvidal really is a good dude. I saw an interview with him, and he ain't trying to put on his character. And the shit he say was just so refreshing. And I really was rooting for him. I wanted him to win this fight, even though I didn't pick him, and I just had a feeling he was going to lose it. But the thing that bothered me at the end of the day was when you have a dude like Masvidal, who want to handle this shit the right way. Like, we hate each other. I hate you. I want to hurt you. I ain't wrestling you, bruh. And I understand people gonna be like, well, he can't wrestle him. I get that. But he wanted to have a stand-up, and he was gonna be willing to take that however it went. When he was getting tagged in one of them rounds, bro, he didn't try to tackle, bro. He didn't try to wrestle him. He stood up and just kept trying to miss and throwing with him. That's what he wanted. Kobe had advantages at that at certain points, and still, now I'm starting to question something that I heard Masvidal say, and I heard Usman say it too, I believe. As great as Kobe is, he has no real power in those hands. I'm starting to believe that because he tagged Usman and Masvidal multiple times in these fights, but he cannot put these motherfuckers down for some reason. And when you turn around and look at the fact that Masvidal clipped Kobe with a shot that dropped him to a knee, and shout out to Kobe. Joe Rogan said, I don't even think it's that he got a strong chin. I just think he got a lot of heart. And I think it is too. This dude just got the will and the heart to, like, bro, you're not about to knock me down. Like, that's how hateful he is. That's how spiteful he is. Like, nah, I hate you too much for you to let you knock me down. And to an extent, I respect that. But I don't respect how this fight went down. Because I knew this, if this was what happened, if this fight went down the way it did, I knew that Kobe was winning this type of fight. That's whack. That's whack. You don't say you hate a man. You do all the shit that you do. You talk the way you talk to do this. That was whack. That was absolutely whack. And I don't want to take nothing away from either fighters. It's hard to go out there and do what these fighters do. I put all that aside. I didn't say that in every single MMA breakdown. Listen, I get that. What I am specifically talking about is this fight in as far, because this is a rivalry. Not even a rivalry. It's just, bro, these two motherfuckers hated each other. They done talked about knocking each other out and shit like that. And I understand you hear fighters say that shit all the time. Those fighters hadn't had rivalries like this, bro. And for Kobe to go out there and do what he did, essentially from the start saying, I'm just going to wrestle. Like, I was bullshitting the whole time saying I want. And I know Masvidal at the end of this fight wanted to say, like, this bitch, like, he was supposed to stand up and wrestle, but stand up and fight. He chose to wrestle. Instead, he took the road of saying, I wasn't game to wrestle tonight. My wrestling skills wasn't on point tonight. Because his wrestling skills ain't supposed to be on point tonight. And when you in a match like this ain't an average match. Like I said, this shit had beef, bad blood, a lot of talk behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, imagine John Jones and Daniel Cormier, those fights in decisions. With all that bad blood and shit talk. No, those fights ended in knockouts. To me, and it was because both dudes was willing to fight. bro, say what you want to about Daniel Cormier. Go back and look at his fights. People thought he wouldn't try to stand up with Rumble. He did. People thought he wouldn't try to stand up with Stipe. He did. Like, to me, and Colby Covington is a great fighter. Like I said, you take the rivalry and the bad blood and all the things that's been said over the last year or so with these two out of the fight, then I wouldn't be saying this. I would say that was a great win by Colby. But I can't help but come from this fight thinking to myself, that was one of the most hoe-ass moves I've ever seen. Like, because I just knew he was going to pull that shit. And now he going to talk about, oh, I whooped George's ass and Street Judas got his ass beat by me and things like that. But, bruh, you just wrestled this man knowing that you was the superior. And credit to you, at the end of the day, you want to win the fight. But when you talk the way you talked, why did you not go out there and give that man the fight that you talked about having? That's my problem. That's my problem. Jorge thought he was coming out there to get a one type of fight. And listen, anybody who want to blame Jorge and whatnot, I get it. Oh, he should have been prepared for this. But this, you got to take into account the things that's been said over the last year or so with these two motherfuckers. And how I just think in every way, Jorge lose no respect for me. For one, because like I said, I didn't pick him to win. But the fact that Colby came out here and did what he did and fought the way he fought, that just made me respect Jorge even more. And I lost a lot of respect for Colby for pulling that whole shit. Because to me, that was some whole shit. Like if John Jones go out there, now for one, it's a little bit different because Cormier is a wrestler too. So it's basically impossible for John Jones to not have a good fight in that one. Unless he went out there and did some real bullshit, like tried to win off of points or something like that. Or like tried to, decision win his way to a win. Like purposely was trying to decision. Tonight it felt like Colby took the whole way out. And I knew he was going to do it. That's why people say, oh, it's a character, man. You play a character so long and eventually you become that character. I'm starting to think Colby Covington is Colby is just a hoe, bro. Because that was a hoe move, man. We knew you could beat Jorge like that. But with the shit you've been talking and the way you've been talking and shit, this is what you went out there and did. Like, it left a bad taste in my mouth. And you can go through all the things. Listen, I'm the same dude who got on here and went crazy because y'all motherfuckers was trying to say Usman was a born fighter when he wrestled Masvidal for that win. Because Usman wasn't talking crazy going into that fight about knocking him out and all that type of shit. It was the second fight where I was expecting something to happen because that's when Usman tried to start talking and then Masvidal got him. That's when I wanted to see what was going to happen. I was like, oh, he going to knock him out this time because Masvidal saying, oh, man, I win all those rounds on short notice. But, bro, come on, man. And it did sound like people started to boo Covington once they caught on to what was happening. Like, it sounded like they was booing him in that last round when he kept trying to wrestle him. Like, it sounded like the crowd caught on and was like, you know what, bro, this piece of shit. Like, it's almost like a group of the crowd was like, yo, this motherfucker, bro. Like, this manipulative motherfucker. It feel like that's what a group of the crowd did. Because it was definitely boos starting to rain in when he was doing that wrestling bullshit at the end. It was even motherfuckers on Twitter going ham like, yo, this dude, this a whole shit. You can't talk the way you did and then go out there and do what you just did. And listen, a win's a win. But how you just won like that, to me, that was just so how can I respect that? How can I respect that? Dude tell me for a whole fucking couple months and a year, basically, every time he called him out, oh, I'm going to put you to sleep, I'm going to knock you out, and then you go out there and wrestle him. You don't even put him to sleep by, like, making him tap out or nothing like that. You just went out there and wrestled him. Like, that was, and like, I was watching this fight thinking to myself, like, yeah, if this the type of fight it's going to be, then Covington going to win it, because he just the superior skilled athlete. And look at these transitions, these wrestling transitions, so beautiful, work of arts, blah 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 blah. I was like, this is some hoe shit. This some whole shit. Dead ass. And I hate that I felt that way because I do want to say, in the previous fight, bro, Rafi Anyos, some of those clean ass takedowns he had, I was kind of disappointed he didn't finish that fight. But this main event, it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Cause like I left the fight more so saying I'm impressed with Jorge for not being tapped out, for being able to stand in there and hang in there, because this pussy did decide to completely lie, basically, and not want to actually have a fight, but more so wanted to fight in spots and actually wrestle the whole time. So that was some whole shit. And I saw somebody on Twitter also say, man, he must not hate Jorge as much as he hated Usman, because he didn't even try this with Usman. That's because he can't try that shit with Usman. Usman a better wrestler. He not finna waste his time trying to wrestle a better wrestler. He's going to listen. When you go into a fight, if you Kobe Covington and you going into a fight with Usman, you got to ask yourself, what do I do better than him or just as great as him? He don't think he wrestled just as great or equally as great as Usman. He think he strike better than Usman. And even if he do think he can wrestle just as great, because trust me, if you Kobe Covington with that ego, you think you do everything better than him. But realistically, he's not a better wrestler than Usman. But he is just as great. And like I said, I think Kobe Covington's stand-up game is severely underrated as far as like his hand game. But that's why he decided to use that fight like that against Usman. Because the chances of me beating Usman with wrestling, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. With Masvidal, who is not a wrestler, nowhere near that, of course that's what he came into this doing. And that's why I knew if he came into this fight doing this, then he did not actually care about this. It was basically going to be a whole move. Because if you hate him the way you say you do, bro, you going to stand up and fight this man. You're not going to take the hoe's way out. Because to me, the wrestling, that was the whole way out. And like I said, I would not be saying this if it was not for this fact that all this shit that's done transpired between these two. It's solely because of what's transpired between these two, the things that have been said and whatnot, that I'm saying what I'm saying. Because if none of this transpires and this is just a fight, then yeah, shout out Kobe. This was a great way to dominate an opponent, knowing his weakness and blah, 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 blah. But this ain't that type of situation. And Kobe Covington cannot be let off the hook for this shit. I really think it's disrespectful to the fans a little bit. And I'm not really a big fan, dude. You know, I'm not a big, for the fans. No, I'm not that type of guy. I'm not with that entitlement shit. But because of how much the UFC, you feed these fans this bullshit, because you don't give them legitimate interviews and shit. You feed the fans this, fuck you, I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what you give the fans. And when that's what you fed the fans the last couple months or a year or so, and you go out there and do what you just did, yeah, I can't, how I'm supposed to respect that, bruh? Motherfuckers out here get mad at wrestlers for telling you they going out there and wrestling. Gonna go out there and wrestle. This dude go out here. That's why I respect Derek Lewis, even though I think it might be. And to also something else, some informative points in the fight. I already told you multiple times, Kobe have a better hand game than people think. But Jorge actually looked a little bit slower. Like his hands didn't look as smooth and as fast as I've seen in the past. Now, I don't know if that's because he either done slowed down a little bit because of age. Because Jorge done had, over 50 fights in the UFC. Or if he just naturally, you slow down with age. Or if it was just he fought a different type of way to try to be more protective or whatnot. But one thing I would like Jorge to do is stop blocking with his fucking face. Because, boy, either Kobe Covington's hand game, like I said, is massively underrated, which I think is a thing because he was tagging Usman too. But, man, it feel like Usman, dudes with strong chins just use their chins as, fucking blocking pads or something, man. It's ridiculous. Masvidal was taking some shots. Kobe couldn't put him down, though. That's what was so crazy. He never even dropped, bro, to his knees. He just kept wrestling him. Shit was weird, man. I can't respect it, bro. Like I said, only because of the rivalry and the things that transpired is why I feel the way I feel. If it wasn't for that, whole different feeling on it. But because of that, yeah, I wasn't really feeling that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Wasn't really feeling that. And yo, I don't watch college sports obviously, but I knew I heard that this was Coach K's last game. Good job, UNC, sending that motherfucker out with an L. I got nothing against Coach K. I'm just not a Duke fan, baby. I'm a UNC fan, and because of that, man, what a win we'll never forget in the halls of UNC Chapel Hill. Sending Coach K out on his last game with a fat-ass L. God fucking bless America. And with that, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Masvidal Covington breakdown, man. Also the Umi breakdown. And then the Umi v Arigatos comparison. You didn't know you was listening to this episode today to get that type of shit in here, did you? Where else is you hearing that? Where else is you hearing that? Mind you, I do want to say it was a thing at Umi's where the dude was when he started cooking the vegetables, he started doing a game where he was tossing it and seeing who could catch it in their mouth. So 2 people did catch it in their mouth. 2 of the ladies there caught it in their mouth. So shout out to those ladies who was with us. But one of the ladies who was with us, who I was nagging with, who I was nitpicking with the whole time, me and her was fucking with each other the whole time, just throwing insults like, not nothing malicious or nothing like that, just antagonizing each other like children. She did it, and she missed every fucking time, and then dude ended up throwing one, and it popped her on the head when she wasn't paying attention, bro. That shit was hilarious. So I give the chef that, bro. That was his only redeeming quality for popping her upside her big ass head with that zucchini slice. But other than that, man, atrocious service. But like I said, I appreciate y'all for joining me. Tell somebody you fuck with them and you love them, man. Dead ass, yo. It can make their day way better. You just never know. You never know. But hey, appreciate you for joining me. Tell somebody fuck with them, tell somebody love them, tell somebody to have a dope day. Yes, 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 I did say that again. Saint out.
I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.